See, but hold on. I don't even want to
Now
go
we
for bad for
talking.
TV because that's such a
It's all about
monumental
relationships,
moment.
brothers. It's all about good relationships.
Definitely.
Let's make a toast to the Homage.
Yes,
together.
yeah,
Definitely, yeah.
salute
Toast,
to Homage
toast.
Podcast.
Toast to
Dope.
the pod, to Nate being here
That's
since
right.
1982. Cortez, Ed,
To the fam. That's
to the
it.
family, man. Yo, and well, hold on.
I don't.
Why-
Cause
nah,
bad
nah,
for TV is
we
such
go-
a big deal. I go back to like, you know what I'm saying, like all
Hold-
the freestyles.
Chill. Since you brought up Band from TV,
All right.
we get back to the freestyles. But there's something about your skill set. You always been able especially on these super like tracks or super records with a lot of features. You always go first, and your verses always hold through the whole song, which is like wild.
You know why?
Difficult to do, like.
Because I'm that dude.
Yo,
I'm
that's
a
a fact
for
though,
one-
man.
for
My
one
man,
lie. Hold on.
my man
I'm
got some strong verses. Let's say it right here. Like,
Listen,
my man Nate got he's the GOAT when it comes to leading verses.
That's a
on
fact.
on
You
on,
know
on
what's
them
crazy?
features.
Like
dog.
since we were talking about that record, right?
Yeah.
Should we
Yeah.
even talk? Are we talking about it now? Or
Talk about it.
Talk
Talk
about
about
it.
it. 'Cause don't
When
let
we
it
talk
go.
about Band from TV, I was the guy that nobody really still knew.
Yo,
Yeah, because you had Killer,
they
Pine,
knew
the
you after
Locks.
that for sure.
I didn't have an album out at the time.
Yeah.
I didn't have.
Were you even signed?
I mean, nah, we just did the firm shit. You know what I'm saying? I had a little name, but I didn't have no.
Yeah.
I didn't have a record. I
Gotcha.
didn't have nothing. So, you know the story. Like if you saw the other podcasts, the homies, put me on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Shout out to Drink Champs.
Word up! Shout out to them,
Shout out to
OGs,
Drink Champs.
man.
Yeah.
And with another thing out about your skill set, because even on that record right there, like I feel like when you write is current. You know what I'm saying? Like you talk about what's going
that was
on
my
in the day,
thing.
like
Yeah, that was
you
my
know, like
thing.
choking niggas like I'm spree well.
Yeah,
You
that
feel
was
me?
my thing. I felt that some of these guys, some of my peers at the time were already so established that I couldn't rap about the same things as them.
Word.
Yeah.
Because the
That
second
shit
the record
resonated
goes
with me
off
as
and
a
you
young-
see me in the hood, all of these things are non-existent. Like
98 live, no replay.
Hold
so
on,
I had to rap
that
about.
shit was
I had to
crazy.
rap about
98 line no replay is an amazing line, but what was a fucking future line was playing NBA 2K for 2 days straight.
Yo,
They didn't even.
I mean, that's what we did.
Nah,
we,
but-
we word is
Yo,
born. Everybody around me was hustlers, right?
Yeah.
So they used to be on the block, and so they used to be on the block getting money. And then when the police pulled up, they had to get off the block, and we went in the crib and played the game. That's when we started smoking blunts and playing the game and betting the game. We playing it so much that we understand. It didn't even have no replay 98 live. It didn't really
Yeah.
have, you know what I mean? We didn't.
Yeah.
We come from the double dribble era. For those that know
You turn that
NBA
replay
Jam and double dribble, and we loved sports and we
Word.
loved basketball.
It's about, that's what I was
But,
going to though, because
it was crazy.
first of all, the young people, and I'm gonna use Cortez as our young god in charge.
All right.
So
Cortez behind the lens, man.
sir.
Cortez
Yes,
behind the
sir.
lines. We're gonna get him on the mic.
At
Soon enough.
Director Cortez.
So back then on 2K, that shit was on Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Facts.
That's right, and that was coming for live, and nobody thought it was gonna be a thing. So you had to really be in tune with, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
with what was going on to play. Who would have thought, like 20 years later,
Yeah.
there is no live. There's a generation that don't even know that. That was the only
They
game
just
for
brought
us.
it back
right?
recently.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, they did, but it's not. It's
I
not
mean, yo,
in the-
if you liked basketball,
Yeah.
you kept up to date with
Yeah.
the games that came
That's
out.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So if you were old enough, you knew that it was like Bulls
Yo,
versus Lakers
hold on.
and things like that. It used to be cheap.
Who you
Bulls
was running
Blazers,
with?
Larry.
Who you was running with back then in NBA Live though? Cause I used to fuck with the Golden State Warriors in
Live
NBA
did
Live
have Jordan.
'95.
I probably did too. I probably switched around a
I
lot.
was
Orlando
playing with the
Magic.
Knicks.
Yeah, I mean the
switched
Knicks
around.
was
I
solid.
liked Golden State too. I liked Win Spreewell.
Yeah.
And you know
Clearly.
what I mean?
He's the
And
biggest
Webber
Chris Webber
and-
fan.
and
Yo, yeah,
Owens.
shout out to C Web,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
We'd like to get you on a Homage pod, man. Please holla at
Those
us.
guys
Fab
are
Five
dope.
forever.
I just like basketball all together. You know what I'm saying? So
You play ball because you tall.
yeah, everybody tried
That's
to play
right.
ball or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I put in my rhymes. That, you know, the stuff that we did in the house.
Yeah.
If you guys got money, y'all rapping about going other places and experiencing other things. You're not rapping about we in the house playing the game.
It
and,
resonated,
you know what I'm
though.
saying? Shit like that. So
It
and
resonated.
it just so happens that 20 years later, people are still doing the same
Bro,
thing.
you could
I
tell
mean,
him. I've been
look at-
saying that since we were kids. I've been like, yo, Nature.
They gotta
If
understand
Nature's
2K
going
is-
first on the song, bro,
2K
you got it.
is the-
Nature
is
got
the
to pop
sports
it
game.
off. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
so at the time, video games was big, and they had to find a way to try to incorporate the hip hop shit too. So, it was a company called Take Two. It was a company called Rockstar Games that was making a big thing out of this game called Grand Theft Auto. Part 3. It was Part 3,
Yeah.
and it was the first time you was able to jump out of the game's the scenario and do your own thing. You know what I mean? You could, like, you know, if you know what I'm talking
Because
about.
Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2 was like overhead, stupid
Yeah,
little.
Yeah, retarded.
Yeah.
So when they did this, they, you know, part of the game was to create audio that you could listen to while you're driving in the car. And so one of the songs on their little soundtrack, I did something for that.
That's
so
hard.
It was like,
That's hard.
it was cool. So it was like, you know, I was feeling in some kind of way. I was like, yeah, I'm ahead of the curve. I'm part of this shit right here. But and ever since then, these games started having soundtracks and you know, just start getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And
Speaking of soundtracks, you smoked the Into Deep soundtrack.
Yeah.
You smoked that. Into Deep soundtrack. That was another one.
Yeah, Into Deep. Yo, that, I mean, shout out to Columbia for at least allowing me to be a part of some of that wave right there, like the movies and the soundtracks of that, like the Into Deep for me, and the movie Life.
Yeah, I was about to say that. You was on. That was a song with
When the movie comes on, the song plays.
It's Juvenile on that. There's a couple other
It's
people
me. Shine was on the record.
Yeah.
They took Shine off the record and they put me on the record. I
Oh,
don't know
shit.
what happened with that, but it's Juvenile, it's Exhibit,
on it.
it's Ja Rule.
Yeah. And you
Me.
smoked them. You smoked them on that.
out to that.
I don't know. A lot of people might not heard that song, but yo, Nature went relentless on that shit. So I'm a big Juvenile fan. I love Juvenile, and you know what I'm saying. And Ja Rule too. You know, Nature smoked that shit. Like, go to his verse on the Life soundtrack. It's hilarious because he come on there on some shit.
Shout out Wyclef for allowing that to happen. He gave me the call. Wyclef is a good dude.
Word.
Unfortunate enough to be around some of these good
I was
dudes.
about to say, we can't just gloss over that.
Nah.
That's not like a light thing. Wyclef,
Exactly.
Steve Style, Track Masters, Nas. You in the.
I didn't even realize what I was a part of.
Word.
You know what I mean? You just doing what you do. I think I was just too resistant as far as just becoming an artist around guys who were shaping hits for guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they didn't really know exactly quite the vision that they had for me yet. It was all kind of experimental.
Gotcha.
So, you know, it was like a tug of war for me. Like, you know, I, as much as they say, hey, you need to do this, I'm telling them, no, I'm from the hood. I have to do this. And I didn't really understand the bigger scope. I
Yeah.
still feel I had to, like, get my bullets off. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Or
Definitely, bro. Shit, lucky for us. You still got that skill set. You know what I'm saying? And
yes,
and you,
sir.
and you still
Yes,
going.
sir.
Yeah, I
Yes,
mean,
You know what I mean?
And life takes you in ways, you know, I guess it's destined to be, you know, because I'm still sitting here talking about those bars. You
Word
know?
up.
The Ed is in the building. What do we listen to all the time? Fantastic Four?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Another one.
Yeah.
My man said, getting more press than Elian Gonzalez.
Yeah, and
kids
that-
don't even know
Stop
what Elliot
playing
Gonzalez
with my
is.
man,
This is
dog.
pre-social media.
Stop playing with my man when he pops it off, man. For real,
Yeah,
like.
that's real shit right there. You know, like I said before, that's a gift and a curse though. It depends on how fast you're able to release something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or if you're nowadays you could do it. It should work in your benefit because
Yeah.
you're able to just put it out as soon as you do it.
Yeah.
But back then it was like, man, you should have waited. You set the year on it. Now I got to go back and just try to fix it. You know?
Nah, man, you killed that. That's another one that we listen to as much as we can.
The journey for the artist today is never going to be what it was, right? It's just because technology changed everything.
Yeah, because
What it took
we
to-
had to actually jump in the cars and drive through these states and do walkthroughs and sign-ins and shake hands and do all of this stuff. And nowadays, it's not like that. You know what I'm saying? I had no idea the people that I was actually reaching until nowadays. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
I run into guys and they be like, "Yo, man, you held me down through college," or "Yo, you held me down through this," and I'll be like, "Word, I didn't even think that you would." And you're a doctor? I wouldn't even think that you was listening to my shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's crazy. Back then, I had no idea. I would go out of state. I would go to a down south or to a funny town, right? They'll tell me that, hey, you need to go here to pick up the sales. You need to actually, they had their little theories on how they do shit.
Yeah.
So I would go to these little towns, and we would do like maybe promotional shows and shit like that, and I would be rapping, and I'd be rapping my ass off, right? And motherfuckers just be standing there like that.
Just there.
And you don't even know if they like it,
Yeah.
if they hate it, or nothing.
Word. I've been to shows like that. It'd be weird.
It's just other markers in it. It
Should
makes
be
you
weird.
aware, like, hold up, this is my best shit over here, but over here don't budge. And then you start trying to realize, you start trying to be experimental and creative. When you start, you know what I mean? When you start being somewhere where they like looking at you like you got 5 heads.
That shit's crazy.
Because
I'd
you
have
ain't
been the
got
only
that-
motherfucker in the crowd wilding and seeing everybody else turn around and people just being too fun, like too.
Yeah,
Like that shit wild.
You know what it is sometimes too? Like people don't know how to respond, but they actually digging every you know what I'm saying? You kicking some shit that they like, wow, but they don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's hard for you to judge it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'll show one person that, be like, oh man, you bombed, and another person was like, yo, they was all into you, and you don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
But nowadays with all this, between Twitter and IG and everything else, you get that response ASAP. They can tell you like what your records mean to them.
it's easier for an artist when your song is already on the radio and they know the words to your song, so they know to sing it with you and do all that stuff. For an artist that doesn't have a song on the radio, he has to work a little harder.
Sure.
I could imagine just like in your era, like when you were coming up, you getting on Clue was major for an artist. Major.
I didn't know.
Yeah, you didn't even realize.
You didn't even know that.
I'm such a fan. It's not until after you keep buying mixtapes that you realize, hey, the shit that I really want to listen to is within these first fucking 4 records right here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'll buy the whole tape just for this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just for this one guy, this shit right here. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so I didn't realize that I was that
Yeah.
that for other people.
Word.
You know?
Now, what was
Yeah,
the first
go ahead.
the first either record or freestyle that got on Clue for you?
Oh, that's
The
a good
first
question.
shit that I did for Clue, we did it. It was supposed to be for Nas' album. It was supposed to be. It's a record called Shootouts, and
Oh,
the
that's
record
my
was
shit.
supposed to be Nas.
That's my shit.
And Method Man and me.
But you body that.
But something happened. It didn't record. We were just recorded some
Body that.
shit, and I was rhyming. I rhymed first on there, but I was all over the place. If you ask
Yeah.
me, I think my flow. I didn't
Gotcha.
really. It was still.
Oh, but Shootouts ended up.
It ended up being
But
the song ended up being on the album without Nature, but the
but
freestyle was on the Clue.
DJ Clue.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
So what happened was, they put that out, and the streets was like, "Who the hell is this dude?"
Word.
And so they realized, hey, they might have had something going on over here. At the same time, they were building. I didn't know at the time they was starting to build their firm talks and what they was
Word.
doing on the side. But they were like, "Who is this guy?" So we next time around, we doing another one,
Yeah.
and we doing another one. And the only time that I
Oh,
didn't
when,
go,
when did I got a bitch that buy me dro, a bitch
that
buy
was
me clothes.
DJ Clue decided to go from these mixtapes to putting out an album. And DJ Clue was like the first DJ to go platinum.
That's
Yeah.
the first
With
profession.
the professional,
That was
yeah,
the
the first
professional.
professional.
Bitch,
Now I
they can't
was
cook.
fortunate
Stay burning
enough to have
sloppy
my own
joes.
record
Olive oil led,
on
even
that
them
record.
sloppy
You know what I'm
joes.
saying? So it was still a lot of hype on me at the time because DJ Clue seemed like he's always having these new exclusive nature shits. Meanwhile, I'm writing them right there on the spot and just rapping.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes Nas is with me, sometimes he's not with me, but the hype is he's the next guy that you need to look at. And Trackmasters, you know, we the dinosaurs. We come from the cassette era.
Definitely.
And so Trackmasters put out promotional cassette with one side Nas and one side Nature.
Dope.
And so
You still got one of them tapes?
no, I wish I did. That would be dope.
We gotta find
hard,
that.
yeah.
Somebody hit us up.
Word. If anybody got one of those, we need those.
Yeah. Comment on the page or DM Nate and say,
Yeah,
"Man, I
hit
got
me.
that."
Word, that'd be dope.
Now that's
So they was like it was like everything is a freestyle though. I'm still not having a record. Guys are still creating. You know, these guys are creating their name for themselves at the time through DJ Clue.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You have the Fabulouses. You have the Memphis Bleaks. You have the whoever used. You know, DJ Clue was the guy to. I didn't know, but he was the guy
The
to
go-to
see
guy,
at the time
yeah.
for me in Queens. I didn't. You know.
That was the cannabis era too, like those kind of artists.
Yeah,
Cannabis.
Cannabis came out blazing too. That's why you heard him on the,
DMX, right? DMX,
yeah.
Big Pun.
Well, X story.
That was
you know,
an
Get at
elite-
Me Dog is what that freestyle, and then they turned that into a song.
That was an elite class
that was
right there.
That was a Clue freestyle.
Bro,
I
we
was
used to
in
run
elite
into all of
class.
these dudes at the hit factories and all of these places, and I didn't be like. Remember, I didn't rub shoulders with the game. I still was like that was my fault. I wasn't friendly. I'm from the hood, you know what I mean. I'm here to rap. That's it.
Yeah, you do what you gotta do. Keep it
Yeah,
moving.
I'm taking a stance, like, you know. I didn't
But
really,
is it fair to say that there was a perception, right? Maybe that you were polished already because you were around these big, you were around Nas, AZ, in a group with Nas,
I don't know how
AZ.
they view me because when we start making noise like that as a unit, I'm fresh from coming home from jail.
Word.
I don't know nothing. I'm still on paper.
Word.
So I still have to report to my parole officer every fucking week. Even though I've been home for, you know, even after I'm not supposed to be reporting every week, I'm catching cases while I'm still on parole. I'm like, oh my God.
Man.
So now I go from that to signing a deal.
Word.
So I go from that to signing a deal and getting money. So now I have to go report to my parole officer with these nice, healthy checks that I got from these guys. Because everybody's saying, hey, I'm a rapper, I'm a rapper,
Yeah,
I'm going to be a rapper.
legit, you signed.
But now it's like,
Yeah.
cha-ching!
Yeah. You rolling
Take
with
a look
the
at that.
Trackmaster,
Yeah, now
Steve
it's like,
Stout,
oh my God.
Nas.
Yeah, so
Running
now
with
they
the
let's
rush.
take him serious. You know what I'm saying? So now I see the whole game change for me and the lanes open up as far as everybody's pushing me to go, you know, keep going.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? It's my first time traveling. I go from, like I said, catching cases and going to jail to flying to California and being in Beverly Hills and
Right.
being, you know, and being able to give my mama money and stuff like that. So who's going to tell me no?
Word.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm watching life change, but meanwhile, I'm still a hood guy. I still don't feel comfortable dressing a certain way or acting like I'm a certain way. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
I still speak broken English when
You
I.
haven't
You know what I
evolved.
mean?
You haven't
I-
evolved yet. You haven't
Yeah.
evolved. You know what I'm
So
saying?
I feel like a fish out of water.
Definitely.
And the only reason I'm standing out around these guys is because I'm everything they're not.
Yeah.
All the little spots that they're not, those little spaces that they're not touching, I'm touching.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how that was going. You know what I mean?
Word.
And if you know about the firm, and
Yeah.
that's how that went.
The firm was such a dope moment. You know what I mean? Because of Dre, right? You know, so you had the Dre thing, and he moved on from Death Row.
When it was just after the East Coast West Coast beef,
Yeah.
and Dre and them did not want to come to New York, and nobody really wanted to go to California. unless it was in the safe part of California. You know what I'm saying? Unless we
Right.
was in Hollywood or somewhere
Sure,
cool
yeah.
like that. So we recorded a lot of the music, the majority of the music, in Miami. Because that was
Okay.
always the neutral
Definitely.
spot. That was my first time going from the projects to multi-million-dollar studios and seeing shit and oh my god, just being around money, and just seeing how people just the other side lived and just the carefree shit. You know what I'm saying? Shout out my dude Evan, man, Evan Strauss. You know what I mean? Evan Strauss. I met them up, being around Jimmy Iovine and guys that you only heard about, you know what I mean?
Yeah, big
Shit,
dogs.
yeah, big
Big
dogs,
dogs.
and shit like that.
Big
Big
So,
dog. That
my
phone
dude-
tap video looked like $1 million video.
My dude Ryan, right? My dude Evan Strauss. Evan Strauss parents own R&S Strauss.
Oh wow.
Own Pep Boys.
Wow.
Yeah.
They the owners of it.
Yeah, big
I'm
dogs.
talking about big dogs.
Big
Yeah.
dogs.
Just hanging around guys all day and smoking blunts and oh my god.
Yeah, just the experience, having that experience is wild coming from
Imagine
the other
sitting there next
side.
to, just as close as we sitting right now, and the guy that's sitting right this close to you has $200 million.
Yeah, right.
That's soon come.
Can you imagine
we soon
guys
come.
that you think have money that act a certain way, until guys that really have money come in the room, and then you be like,
Exactly.
Oh.
All that talk, that loud talk.
Yeah, what? I don't hear nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
But shit is real, but just learning how to. I'm the same no matter what.
Of
You know
course,
what I mean?
yeah.
So if I can light in the room, I'll try to light in the room. You know what I mean? I'll try not to be a dull spirit, whatever. I'm still learning shit, but like I said, this was my first experiences traveling,
Yeah,
seeing shit.
definitely.
Oh man, you know what I mean?
No, man, that's why we asked you to come here, man, to share that with us, because we appreciate what you've brought to the game. You know what I'm saying? And not just now, we appreciated it then.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Like I told you,
Yeah.
I bought your album.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I used to be out there speaking on your behalf when we talk about who's spitting at the moment.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
understand?
and to your point about the Clue tape thing, right? Because I love DJ Clue tapes. I wanted to be like a little fake DJ, right? And mimic the shit that he was
He
doing.
wanted to be like Clue, bro. Like he wanted to be like Clue. Fake.
DJ Clue
He wanted
was
to be DJ
No,
Clue.
DJ Clue didn't
Apprentice.
really. He didn't scratch.
No, he didn't do none of that. He ain't
He
mix
didn't do
really.
none of that.
Bro, if Justin could have carried
he didn't
crates-
invent talking on the shit, like, because I'm the first person I heard like really talking, like, I guess like Ron G, and
Yeah.
if you throw back like
Yeah,
that.
Ron G, of
back.
course.
Ron G was the
But
SNS, all of those.
when what separated Clue from these other guys was he had these Queensbridge rappers.
yeah.
Yeah.
He had Mobb Deep. He had these nature. He had these records that nobody didn't
Right.
have.
So he broke records, but what we cared about was the freestyles.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like yeah, he had all these, like, I'm the biggest Biggie fan, right? He had Long Kiss Goodnight before it came out.
Yeah.
But the freestyles is what I
Like
remember.
Prodigy
You know what I'm
freestyle
saying?
over
Like,
You Ain't a
Like,
Killer.
they were only for him.
They
were
call Clue
custom for-
freestyles.
yeah, they were
It's
custom.
like they're
that
Clue
I
freestyles.
remember
the shootouts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was crazy.
Man,
That was wild.
man.
But let me go jump back for a second. Like, so down in Miami, y'all working with Dre. Was he as people proclaim he'd be, like, make you do the take 20, 30 times and all this stupid shit?
Dre was such a perfectionist as far as knowing the sound that he wants. You know what I mean? But that was my first time being around Dre. Is like going from dudes sampling beats to now guys are coming in playing instruments, and Dre is like orchestrating the whole shit. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I didn't realize how much it becomes a team effort.
He's like Quincy Jones. And stuff.
Yeah, he's like, and he has the ear for certain things that I guess we didn't hear. He was way beyond my shit. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
hard.
He was already established.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they said, I guess it was too many people at the time because Trackmasters is a group of producers. When
Yeah.
you start having too many producers in the room, you know how it goes.
Yeah,
you know
it
what I'm
ain't the
saying?
same.
But I'm the only one that has my own record on the firm.
Yeah.
And
5 minutes to flush. Go listen to that.
And I'm the only one that has a record with just Dre on the firm.
Yeah.
That's hard.
So I tried to impress Dre because I used to ask him all the time, like, yo, talk to me, tell me about Tupac. Tell me about, tell me about, because I just heard all of these stories, man. I'm from New York.
I mean, he from NWA to
tell me
Pop to
about
Snoop.
Suge Knight. I might have asked him things that he could have felt uncomfortable, you know what I'm saying? But he was the top dog.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's the top dog. He's here. He's buying us Hennessy every day. He's rolling me joints every day. He did the crime.
He rolls
hold on, shout out to that
on.
Dr. Dre rolled.
Yo, hold on.
Yeah, they had the joint rollers. Like, I don't know what the fuck this was, but they was rolling the most perfect joints. And every night after the studio, we would
I'm impressed.
But
That's hard.
Dre wasn't staying in the same hotel as us.
And that's a different
We
story.
had to drop him off somewhere different. But we would drop him off first, and then I would get out and go with them, and they would just roll me joints. And I'd be like, go looking, bro, go looking.
Yeah.
So when I go back, you know what I'm saying?
That's decent.
So, he was cool to me.
That's what's up.
That's
You know
what's
what
up.
I mean?
A Dre roll J.
Yeah, he's not really, he's gonna, he know how to keep the walls up there, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, it was cool. Everything was cool with that. And it was like, I got a chance to introduce Dre to my brother, to my family, like, yo, this is, NWA, man, you know what you got? This is niggas with attitude. You know what I'm saying? It was
Gin
real
and juice.
shit.
This is deep cover.
This is
all
all
shit.
that. You know what I'm saying? This is all that. So, and then and he knows who I am, so I'm popping shit.
That's a fact.
I feel like the shit. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could get around him now. This is prior to the beats and all that shit. This is like, damn, he's like 10 levels up now.
Nah,
from
this
there.
episode is gonna reach him. Don't worry.
That's what's up.
That's in the universe now. It's gonna reach
Dre,
him.
Word up.
do it.
Word up, Dre.
Let's do it.
Dre, we want to smoke some of those J's with you,
That's a
bruh.
fact.
Nah, I mean, it was a privilege for me to, interact with all of those guys that I felt was legends when I met them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Ice Cube, you know what I mean? Rest in peace, my dude, Ron Archer. He was a guy up in Sony Music that, I guess he was A&R and he had power at the time. I didn't really understand what his job was, but he passed away a while ago. And I remember Ice Cube was in there one morning, and it was like 10 o'clock in the morning, and these guys was drinking Hennessy. And he was like, pour a cup. And I was like, hell yeah. Just to say I did it, you know what I'm saying?
No.
Smoke blunts with Snoop.
That's hard.
You know what I mean? I'm still a Queensbridge guy. I'm a guy they looking at like, whatever. He's just a regular guy. But,
Getting the smoke with
man.
Snoop is like
But
a rite of passage.
That's
What?
bucket list shit.
What?
And,
I
everybody
made
wanna
that. I
smoke
made
on
that
Sunday.
happen. Snoop, you might not remember this. Snoop, if you see this shit right here, Snoop had a session in New York City, and we had a session next door. It was like a A-B studio session type of
Gotcha,
thing,
yeah.
and I found out that Snoop was going to be in Studio B while we was in Studio A. And you know what I did? I ain't even going to front. I put my jacket in Studio B and went back in Studio A and knew that I had to go back in there before I left.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I finished in here,
Exactly.
they was in there. I got past the wall of security because they got security in there, and I was in a room with Snoop and a whole bunch of dudes in New York. Snoop's rolling blunts. They all camcordering at the time where they from and all that shit. And the nigga Snoop is like, I'm standing next to Snoop. This nigga Snoop got a Ziploc of weed. He rolling the weed up and rolling them up and lighting them shits. And as soon as he lighting them shits, he putting them in my hand like this. And I'm like smoking them shits and like, oh my God. And I know I'm supposed to leave.
Yeah.
I gotta leave. Like I told you, I came from another session. I came back in here because I had my jacket in here. Now I know that once I leave past this wall of security, I ain't getting back
That's
in
it.
there. Yeah, so I'm smoking all these blunts and shit with Snoop. And I was like, yo, Snoop, let me buy some of that weed. Let me buy some weed from you. He was like, you ain't gotta buy nothing, nephew. Boom, get me some weed. That shit was like gold nuggets. I was like, oh. Went to the hood, found my dudes. My dudes was on the block doing what they do. Some dudes was over here, some was over here. They was smoking and shit. I'm like, yo, Snoop.
Exactly.
Yo, give that back, Snoop. Shit. Word. You know, we was just chilling and shit like that.
That's
Word.
hard.
That's fire.
Dope shit, man.
That's
I
legendary
feel like
shit. That's bucket list shit.
everybody
And
needs to get
through
a Snoop moment.
That's
you know what I mean?
bucket list shit right there.
Word. But
That's on my list.
But I got cool with some of these guys because, like you said, the firm shit was. We did. I wrote a few records with Exhibit. I got cool with Exhibit.
Okay, that's
You know
what's
what I'm
up.
saying? I got cool with some of these guys that was behind the scenes guys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just helping Dre out, doing shit like that. And so like, I always would ask like, "Yo, what's up with this guy? What's up with this guy?" So it would be like, Exhibit introduced me to Nate Dogg, rest in peace.
No word, Nate,
You know,
rest in
I
peace.
wanted to meet these guys. I'm
Yeah,
a,
sure,
you know,
definitely.
Now
I
you a hip hop
wanted to meet
fan.
all
Yo,
these
like
guys,
Nate Dogg
you know
is
what I'm saying?
up there, a legend. Like
So I'm
a
meeting
legend.
these guys and chilling with these guys.
one of my boys actually ran up on Nate Dogg, man. Shout out to Buddha and Rojas, man, my brothers,
Oh,
man.
shit.
From the Bronx. They ran up on Nate Dogg when they saw him. They always told me the story that they saw Nate Dogg dressed up, fully
Nate Dogg
fresh
used to
head to
look
toe.
serious all the time, like
Fresh
you better
head to
not
toe.
say nothing.
With one of-
Right?
with
But they were showing him love. I'm
no, one of
assuming.
his ladies and stuff, and then they just ran up on him like, "Yo, Nate Dogg, you know, like showing him love and stuff." Like
Buddha,
you know?
Buddha.
Yeah,
Buddha
Buddha and
produ-
Rojas and them.
Buddha the
They ran up
producer.
on him just and he was showing them love too.
That's what's up.
Or not,
Yo,
they
but-
was younger.
I don't even. I bought the Firm album on because he was saying I was trying to be a fucking version of DJ Clue, which I was, right? So I had it on vinyl, and I bought it on a cassette tape. I don't know if you remember, like, but the cassette tape was like a special package.
It looked like a cigarette. It looked like a cigarette
Thank you.
box.
Yeah.
Nobody knew that. I'm like, yo, the shit is so
open
hard,
it
like a
up like a
cigarette
cigarette
box.
box.
You take the top, you open it like
Yeah.
that. I wish I still had that shit.
Marketing at
was
its
sick.
best at the time. You know what I'm saying? I remember that.
That was hard. I need that. I need that memorabilia now.
Shit was different back then. Though they used to do they used to put the albums out. Well, not put them out, but give them out like months before.
Oh, because for the editors and
all of that.
give-
Like,
He
it
was
used to be a
big on.
That was a
he
five mic
big
era.
on promotional items as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For my first album, I had do rags and
That's hard.
I had a whole bunch of that. We had T-shirts and all that stuff, but everybody was like I said, it wasn't the internet, so we was like hands on. Guys used to climb up poles and slap stickers up and do all that other shit.
And they
It was
do
a different kind of hip
reviews
hop.
and
Or you know
They used to do like reviews on albums and all of that.
yeah,
like,
and people swore by these albums.
Yeah.
They'd be like, "Oh, you give me a certain amount of mics that I
Yeah.
felt that I didn't deserve. I'd be ready to kill you."
I mean,
man.
I
Do
we
you
judge it
remember-
on 5 mics and 4.5 mics.
Do you
and all.
remember
They don't
what-
even know
do
what
you
that
never
is.
remember what
realized
they-
who
any
was giving
reviews
it.
they gave you?
Who was the actual people reviewing?
No, you'd be surprised. It'd be like people like Miss Info and them used to work for the Source. They used to do. I think she did Nas.
I mean, some of them people was
Some of them-
valid.
No, I'm not
that
saying
we're
it,
talking
no,
about.
I'm
We're
saying-
talking about the Source, right?
Like, no,
At
I'm
the time,
saying
we're
legit.
talking about the Source,
Yeah.
right? And the Source was like became the Bible for hip hop, where you
Yeah.
could go to the back or the second to the last page and
Yep.
see what's coming out. You
Yeah,
actually
right.
knew they promoted what was coming out
Yep.
before it came out,
And they were hip hop quotables. They
It was quotables.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
everything that you could possibly want in a magazine.
I feel like you were
and stuff
featured in the Source before.
Nah, nah,
Nah?
nah.
Maybe
I didn't get a good review for the album or none of that. It was a lot of problems when it came down to my album because of sample clearances, and a lot of these records got leaked on some of these DJ
Shit, that
tapes.
got nothing to do with you.
Yeah, but once they get heard,
Yeah.
they become quote unquote old or whatever. You know what I mean? So I had to deal with a lot of that.
Yeah.
But the Source was like, they could tear you down, man. They could hold you up,
Yeah.
and you could become the next best shit. Or some of these writers will tear you down, man. You know what I'm saying?
Word. And back then that shit was serious.
That's
I
when,
remember
you
he
know,
used to
Elliot
look-
and them was running it, right? I'm assuming.
No, I mean Benzino and
Yeah.
Benzino
Dave
old
Mays and yeah. I mean, we didn't really know. I didn't really know. It just seemed like it just appeared, and these guys was just like.
They were the shot caller for all.
Yeah,
'cause
this
I
is what
remember
this
that
was the
shit.
rating system. Once you figured out this what the rating system was, and it was
They
enough to
fucked
make
up-
you
They
want to
fucked up
hear
on
it.
a couple on a couple of albums. Like they underrated shit. They underrated something. They went back and gave it 5 mics. I don't know. Was it Reasonable Doubt?
It might have been Reasonable Doubt. It was a couple of things that
It
they
might
had
have
to
been.
like
I
correct
don't know.
themselves
No,
on.
my dude got 5 mics, so
Oh yeah,
Automatic.
that, without a question. I'm wondering. It
changed the
was
game a
written
little
got
bit.
5
It was
mics.
like changed the
You know what
game.
I was about to say? I know what Illmatic means.
Let me
in
tell you
this,
something. One
but
time,
it was
Let me
written
tell
as
you
my
can I
favorite
tell you a
Nas
quick
album.
story?
So please do.
One time, right? we was on 57th Street in Manhattan, Niketown. You know
Yeah.
Niketown?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
When I see the power of influence is like crazy. I remember we was in Niketown, and it was me, Nas, and maybe like one or two other individuals, right? And so we're in, and this might have been like my first time in Niketown. I didn't realize that it had different floors and stuff like that, right? Well, we went in Niketown. To make a long story short, I guess Nas kind of figured out something was kind of like was going on, and he went to hide behind one of the curtains in the corner somewhere. He hid behind the curtain, and I seen the whole store come looking for this guy. I mean, like Chinese people. The whole store went crazy looking for this guy.
That's it. That's the guy right there.
And it was like, for me, it was a shock because I didn't even think that these people would even know who you was, and to know that you didn't cross that many waters. Some of these people didn't even speak English.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? Just to see that alone, when you be like, oh my God, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because we would just ride around all day like it wasn't nothing.
Definitely.
It's just the guy that from the hood. It's just my guy. It's just, he's not a star. What are you talking about? He's a star. You know what I'm saying?
No, of course.
And but it's not until the day that I see how other cultures are reacting to these guys. It's not until the day that he decides not to go into the store, not to go into the weed store, and I have the big QB chain on my neck walking down the street, and I see how the whole crowd reacts to like just the chain.
Definitely.
Like, hey, I know, where's he at? They're just saying, where's he at?
Yeah.
And I'm saying, who are you talking about? Who are you talking about? We know who you're talking about. Where is he at? And he's looking, and just they reacting off of his jewelry, and I'm talking about influence, and I'm like, yo, this is major.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I've seen it happen with some of these guys that I would consider my peers because I met them through these DJ Clue tapes.
Definitely.
Nobody was really like the Locks and some of these. Nobody was rich.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nobody
Definitely.
was. You know what I mean? But I see how these guys' careers were taking shape and they were becoming somebody. And
Definitely.
I'm like, wow.
You saw hip hop influence at its finest at that moment, and how it like really traveled. And now to fast forward to today, it being the number
to
one
see where all of
music
these people,
market
to see
out.
where it's at now is crazy.
It's
Yeah,
wild.
definitely. It's definitely crazy because, you know, you just thinking that it's just you listening to these songs. You just think that it's just us or whatever. You're not thinking that, you know, some of these actors or some of these basketball players or some of these doctors or whatever are, you know, they might not live the same way as you, but they're loving you and they're, you know, they're loving this music and shit like that. It's kind of crazy, yo. It's kind of crazy until you go and see somebody that you really admire look like they are just as shocked to meet you as you are to meet them.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I like to think of it sort of like
hard.
sort
That's hard.
of like
Though,
like
open
a-
the next bottle. Though.
like an author, right? So like look at it like that, like you're an author. Like you guys are authors telling stories, right? You know what I'm saying? Like you have your own style of telling them, and the listener or reader,
Sure.
you get what I'm saying, follows you through on that, which is
man. It's different when you it's like, man, we're becoming this shit. It's like becoming this music, becoming
living
this, you know, like when I say coming from Legacy and coming from Queensbridge, right? Like I'm fortunate enough to have guys that are considered GOATs ahead of me.
Word.
So I always had something that I felt that, hey, they like this, so all I gotta do is kind of be a version of this.
Yeah,
and they might like
that's-
me too.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? I don't have to stray too far away from this blueprint that these guys are putting together. So much that they're making their own language. They're coming up with the done language. They're coming up with shit that actually didn't make any sense, but it's just a wave that was happening. You know what I'm saying?
We created a culture and then started creating subcultures within that culture.
Crazy.
It's wild, and now that is pop culture.
Pop culture.
Shit's crazy.
Now
They
that's
just
pop-
name it.
Hip-hop
They
is-
just give shit. They just I'm telling you,
Hip
they
hop
just
is
give
pop
shit.
culture
Hip
now,
hop is
man.
pop culture for these kids now. You know what I'm saying? Now I have kids. You have kids. Like I have an 18-year-old daughter. Just to see how they frame hip hop is crazy, and they'll never understand it. So that's
I mean,
why
the difference now is
Yeah.
they teach certain shit in school.
That's
They
a
talk
fact.
about Biggie. They talk about Tupac in school and shit like that. We didn't have nothing before us. It's kind of crazy that it has to be on such a negative turn to make it happen like that. But everybody is like biting and taking a piece of it and shit like
Definitely.
that. You know what I'm saying? It's so hard to establish pure shit anymore, and some people don't even care anymore. It's just all about $1 and a number. You know what I'm saying?
It's really difficult because you want to share something with people, but then you don't want them to taint it and water it down and turn it into something that it shouldn't be. But
it just
evolution
becomes
is
so
weird.
oversaturated. It's just so many people felt that this was the way out. So it's like everybody running through this one door right
That's a
here.
fact.
So unless for guys like me, you might say, hey, he's mad talented or he deserve it, but to corporate America, I'm too regular. I'm too normal. It's nothing about me. Like, I don't have rainbow hair. I don't have, he might be a dope
not
rapper.
marketable.
Yeah, it's
marketable.
Hard. Yeah, it's kind of hard to. How do you? It's so many of these guys.
Yeah.
See,
You know what I'm
but
saying?
now I feel like that's a valid point, and I feel like now it's that times have changed. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm your audience. You feel me? I listen to you still making heat right now.
Yeah, but then you have guys out there that's dope, right? I mean, how old are you?
37, 38. Sorry,
I was gonna say
38.
we're both
my bad.
38.
Just turned 30.
So, you ever heard of? And you're from both New York, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're both originally from the Bronx and we moved to Yonkers.
So some of the dopest MCs that I ever heard in my life never sold any records.
Word.
I mean, we got
That too.
dudes from our block that never got past a mile radius. That
Yeah,
bars
nice.
is incredible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how do you think it feels for that's one thing. How do you think it feels for people that actually came out? Like, how do you think it feels for somebody like a Cool G Rap or somebody that was like a god on a microphone
elite.
that never sold anything, and you have somebody that, not to throw any dirt or anything, you might have a lesser MC that's popular and rich and all that. It becomes
Definitely.
frustrated, and because he didn't get how do you
I think.
you
Yeah,
justify
that's
that?
not skill. Skill didn't get
No,
that.
I know where you're going with it, and it's unfortunate for, like, let's say G-Rap, for example, will fathered a lot of people's style that people don't know, right? Like he brought
one of the
gangsta-
best ever.
one of the greatest
He's
rappers
one of the
ever, but
best
also
ever.
like brought in this version of street rap that
Yeah,
nobody knew
yeah,
about,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And now that's like a norm. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it's normal.
But and you could translate that into 20 years later into like that's battle rap kind of shit, and they put street versions in it. But nevertheless, the beauty of the bad could be that now with podcasting and all this shit and revisiting,
Yeah, we could rediscover music
we
too.
could rediscover G-Rap, and we can understand what that 456 is, and all of these.
I
great
totally
things.
get it, but it's a difference between rediscovering it for the second time than to have it all clicking on all cylinders for the first
for
time.
sure.
It's unfortunate
For
for,
sure.
him in the moment, and a lot of other artists. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think that was just a time thing. It's just he couldn't escape. That's what the year he was born, and that's when he
and
put
the
music
powers
out.
that be thought that they thought that they knew what marketing to an audience was. They thought what an artist should look like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I
And what
also
a hit record should be.
also
But
at
they
the
didn't-
same time though, like the music industry is like straight crooked shit. You know what
yeah,
I'm
it's
saying?
a bunch of fuck shit.
It was actually created because the old jazz artists back in the days, like way back the 20s and shit,
Yeah.
they wasn't getting paid when they would do shows.
Yeah.
So like you know what I'm saying? The black hand came in to make sure they got paid, and that eventually became the music industry. You feel me? So all that shit's been designed to jerk the artist from jump. You know what I'm saying? And so I could see why someone that's actually really talented would not want to play that game eventually.
But you know how what's crazy right now is like the illusion game is at its highest. It's so easy for some of these artists to feel like, why should I go to school and for 4 years or for 10 years to become something that I can probably make in fucking 2 weeks with the #1 record or you know what I'm saying? And they give up on some of the things that we need. America need more doctors, need more lawyers, need more all of that.
Definitely.
And so it's not just about just the illusion of money. I know a lot of people, I done had a lot of money, and that doesn't mean that you can do necessarily some of the things.
You know that you bring up a great point because
I was going to say something.
I've always felt like that has been something that holds artists back, especially artists on the rise, that they don't know how to manage having a real life, you know, or maybe whether that has to be a job or going to school, and still try to keep their authenticity as an artist. You get what I'm saying?
Sure.
I mean, how hard is it to? It becomes harder to create when you don't have a lot of shit going on. When you don't have, you know what I'm saying? It's harder to feel a certain way about your craft when you write in blood, sweat, and tears, and then you feel somebody is lesser than you is blowing. So then you might feel like, hey, I have to compromise my sound because apparently this is what they want.
Yeah.
And so now you have all of these watered down, mixed up, weird ass rappers and all of this other shit that I don't.
But you know what it is though?
Yeah.
I think today, like election night, whatever the fuck, right? In the
Shit,
middle of
right?
the shit
Crazy,
that we
right?
in.
Yeah.
I think if you're true to your art and you zone in on that and you present yourself in the right way, that audience is going to find you, right? Well, those artists that you're
Let me tell you
mentioning.
something. Hold
Go
up. It's just like drugs, yo.
Yeah.
It's just like drugs. Unless you're creative enough to just sit in a quiet room or to push your brain to in certain corners where you would not normally think, it usually, when I say it's like drugs, is like no matter what drug it is, people aren't just waking up saying, hey, I'm going to fuck with drugs. It's usually somebody that they fuck with or somebody that they respect, that they think they can hold it together, that makes them say, hey, I can do that too. So you have to be introduced to certain shit like that. You have to be fucking, you know what I mean? You have to be introduced to, if you're not an artist that you can just say, you know what, I'm just going to just create shit off my own drum like that. It's usually something else that you use has a blueprint to say, you know what, I think that's cool. This person is cool. That works for them. Let me try this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Very few people are. That's why I say some of the dudes that we, you know, I had the Havocs and I had the Marley Marls. These dudes that was like producing and they had ears for sounds and certain shit. And, you know, I was always a fan of certain shit like that. Because I didn't play no instruments. I don't know how to do all this other shit. I just know how to put some words together. Right. So if you don't put the right shit together for me, it's not going to I don't know what else to do. Yeah. You know what I mean? I got to leave. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's usually something else that influences us, that causes us to do.
Yeah, there's got to be something that draws you to something and then gives you the push to want to take it in and really see what's there. But on the flip side, there is a lot of, you know, Mickey Mouse bullshit that just happens, and there's no actual artistry behind it, and there's no real, like, you know, try. It just does. But we can today at least decide our own fate. You know, there's no need. If I wanted to put out an album tomorrow, I could.
Right.
I don't need somebody to actually vet me to make sure that I'm okay, which is kind of bad, right? Which is, me and Doe argue about this all the time, right? Like, you know, he calls them gatekeepers. I'm like, look, Marley Marl would tell you if the shit wasn't good. You know what I'm saying? Like, or so-and-so. You know what I mean? Like, yo, nah, let's do that over. Or, nah, this guy ain't ready. You know what I mean?
That would be me. I had guys around me that was the track masters, and I didn't understand, like, they would say do it over. I didn't even understand my voice was like an instrument. I didn't understand my voice would crack, or if I'm rapping too fast, the bass will leave out. You know, I didn't understand my pocket.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, like I said, I was being resistant, like, no, you don't understand. That was it. And it's not until you actually have to leave the booth and come out and play it loud and be like, no, that ain't it. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
But these guys were stars around me.
Yeah,
so while creating these albums, I'm rapping. There's plenty of times I'm rapping, I'm in the booth, and I'm looking through the glass, and I'm looking at Will Smith.
Wow.
I'm looking at these guys that's fucking bopping their head. I'm looking at Kobe Bryant. I'm looking at these guys, and I'm like, oh my God.
Mamba was in the room while you was recording?
Mamba was signed to the same people as me.
That's rare.
He dropped on the Trackmasters.
I know that. I'm just saying.
He made a song called
right?
KO. He made a whole album. I think he brought it back. Rest in peace. Because the image thing at the time, it was kind of crazy, and he was able to do it too. He was with Adidas at the time.
My loves is
he put out a video. He was on a motorcycle, right,
with Tyra Banks and all that.
Yeah.
Now, what's the verse he had on the
Brian McKnight song?
The Brian McKnight song.
But these guys was
Kobe.
They was the Trackmasters was the hit makers of the time. It was either with Bad Boy and Puff doing stuff, or these guys was doing stuff for Michael Jackson and Biggie.
But you saw it though with your own. You probably didn't realize, but you were seeing how the influence of hip hop. You know, Kobe Bryant. I
was laughing at certain things. I didn't realize sampling. I didn't realize what was the reach. I just always felt that certain things was the reach. I didn't understand that certain records could be, revamped and.
Word.
I didn't understand. I see the results, and we all was like, "Holy shit!"
5 Minutes to Flush is a major sample.
But the content of it is dirty.
Yo,
so I'm talking about police kicking the door and shit like that over a big sample.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I always thought the framework of the song was that one scene in Goodfellas. When they about to kick the door in, and then Karen has to
the whole shit is they come and you gotta flush the drugs and shit.
That's what I always felt like I was looking.
But meanwhile, these guys are $1 million guys, and how did that song make it on this fucking?
Because like I told you, your skill set, you on that song, you laid it. You were very clear.
Was the song?
It was clear how you spit that shit. You spit that shit clear as fuck.
The song was the beat was them. The song was mine. Nobody's not gonna tell me to rhyme about that.
I wasn't sure
about. I don't know.
And for those people that don't know, you remember the sample?
I just called this video music box sample.
Yeah, the video music box sample. Exactly.
I don't know who at the time.
Shout out to Uncle Ralph.
Yeah. Shout out to Uncle Ralph, man. He's our OG, man. For real. Ralph McDaniels, man. We owe you everything, man. Hip hop owes you everything. Don't ever forget that. Word up. We love
on
you,
YouTube right now talking about hip hop because people like Ralph McDaniels or Ralph McDaniels specifically paved the way.
Oh my God, Ralph McDaniels. That shit was like
video music box.
It was crazy. What's crazy is that all around the world, people are doing the same thing, and you don't even realize, like, everybody's, you know what I'm saying, doing this shit. Everybody's catching on to this shit. I don't know if it was, like, structurally thrown down our throat to everybody like this, or it's just, like, something new and something fresh. You know what I'm saying?
You know what was wild? I always wanted to be on Video Music Box in the shout-out section and be like, yo, I want to give a shout out to my girl. You know who you are? Because
I didn't want to be on Video Music. I wanted to be on Soul Train. So.
Oh, nah, that was fire. Soul Train.
Nah, I wanted to be on Video Music. I wanted to be what was that on Fridays? Bentley's?
Nah, you know what it was? Video Music Box. I felt like that shout out section. Whenever I used to see the OGs, they used to say, yo, I want to give a shout out to my girl. You know who you are. They wouldn't say the name. They just give a shout out to their joints. And you know what's crazy? We spoke to Ralph about that. He created the shout out.
I believe it.
The term
he
shout
created
out.
the term shout out. Like before that, nobody. I can't remember.
We talked about this with Ralph on a.
Well, it wasn't on film. We just
talked about it. But we did something else.
I wonder whose idea. I mean, because from them before that, it was probably like Hot Tracks.
But no, it was him. Right, Kid Vid, Tuffy, Crazy Sam.
Remember the shit that they had the videos that you call. And you can fucking
the box.
Yeah,
but that was a play on.
That's that shit. That's the shit.
We were outside and
went
to the payphone, and they had the free payphone, and dudes was fucking putting 5 songs on and shit, and then running upstairs and trying to watch.
That's that
shits,
shit that
yo.
get your ass whipped when that bill come. When your mom look at that
Chat
bill.
rooms and shit like that. Like we come from that era. Like, oh man,
You know what had
we
it
like,
ringing off
for the
on the
first
box?
10 minutes. It's only $10.99.
That's right.
Rex and Effect had it ringing off on the box. That was
Hey,
Rex
you
and
know what I'm talking about?
Effect.
You remember them chat rooms and shit like that? Yo, it was just like our era was like one big experiment.
Yeah.
Yo, you know what I'm saying?
It's funny, they got an app right now that's ringing off that's like invite only called Clubhouse.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's basically a chat.
It's just like them chat joints.
It's just like a chat joint, but it's all like industry professionals from VC, like for the tech
for
industry.
now.
It's becoming a little ratchet, but
No,
Yo,
but
motherfucker.
It's funny how shit
I'm sure
evolves,
people
and-
done spend a lot of money over the years over shit like that, man. And people was paying money not even seeing somebody, just talking to people in the
Yeah.
stupid ass room.
shit was wild.
Stupid, yo.
That shit was wild. Those are some wild times.
Shout out to that. Shout out to the whole underground shit. You know what I'm saying?
Underworld.
The
Yeah,
underworld.
listen, man, people got in the artist world today. In my opinion, it's the best time because if you have a plan and you have your agenda and you have a push and you have something to say and you connect with the right people, you can directly talk to the audience that fuck with you and you can see what their responses are. You can understand where you want to go with their music.
Word.
You can schedule your own dates. You can make your own way. Before it was all about, making it happen.
Yo, man, you could just pay money to just follow me all day. You could just spend some money and you could follow me. We got a doctor's appointment. We could go food shopping. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you want to do, you know what I'm saying? I could take requests and be like, yo, listen, Nate, I think you need to go wash your car. And we're going to go wash our car, you know what I mean? Nowadays there's cameras everywhere.
Listen,
and
that's
it's like, I
not-
guess the bigger the artist, the more people will watch them do anything nowadays.
First of all,
It's crazy,
that's a fact, and it's called OnlyFans.
only.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
It's called OnlyFans.
Yo, I actually have an idea for
Shout out to all the ladies
I actually
making
have an
the
idea
transition to
for
get money on
for
OnlyFans.
super hip hop fans. We need to create a safe space where they could go and do their thing. We need to create only stands. You know what I'm saying? Where you can go, you could obsess over your favorite artist and argue for them or whatever.
Yo, you know how this crazy? You know, just like we in a wave of, like for the past couple years, it's been like reality TV and things like that. And it's crazy. It's like people can, we have social media and people can put up some real heartfelt shit and won't get no response. But yet,
None.
you know, a shorty with a fat ass or somebody like laying on a bed of nails will get like a fucking million views. It's kind of crazy, yo. This world is bananas.
You know
what I'm saying?
You know what though? People be trying to use social media as therapy though.
Incredible,
Speaking of that,
yo.
it's 9:50. We don't know who the president is.
You
yet.
know what I'm saying? They be. Anytime that people try to put themselves out there and use something for like therapy, there's gonna be motherfuckers that's gonna try to joke. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, everybody knows something. Everybody's like the best at something in social media right now. It's like, oh man, you don't need anything. All you need is a camera, and you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You get a wave of followers, no matter what you're selling, no matter what you're doing. You know what I mean? We're living in this COVID time, in this time where the world is changing, right? And like how we was talking about sports, and you think about how many people done lost a lot of money and how many things done changed over this year, right here.
It's been a while, yeah.
Do you think the music business changed?
To be honest with you, I think when it comes to the music business, I think there has been some changes as far as like people can sort of lay their own lane out for themselves as far as that. But when it comes to dealing with big business, nothing's ever gonna change. You know?
Well, I mean, you mean specifically with 2020?
I mean, people are like you just was talking about a second ago. We was talking about like the only fans and the things like that, and ways that people are incorporating.
Well, there's more
music
direct to
with-
consumer.
Well, the music business did change, right? I mean, the labels are not dumb. They want to keep keep making money. So that's why the 360 deal is such a normal thing now, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, look, I ain't hating on nobody. You know, people get it how they want to get
I
it.
mean, like what I'm saying by that is, not just like how the deals are structured. Are people buying
Nah,
rap?
no.
It's a
They're
streaming
it's
world.
streaming.
It's a
They're paying
streaming
to
world.
stream. They're paying to stream.
It's a stream world.
The average person is streaming or downloading, this shit. No one, I know a few people though. I do know a few people that buy albums. They just buy whatever they
Digital
listen to.
albums.
Yeah, digitally.
Listen,
Is it the same as like how we used to like buy
No,
records?
definitely not.
Well, because
read the
access was
credits and
different.
shit
Definitely not.
No.
It's definitely not.
Access
So is the
different.
experience the same?
The experience is
it's
not
not a
the same.
personal experience at all.
No, but it isn't.
It is, but it isn't.
It isn't the same, but it also doesn't mean it's bad because now they get to talk to you and communicate with you and experience your life more regularly because those credits, for the young people like my man Cortez in the building, the back of an album had credits and they shouted out everybody. Now that happens on one Instagram post,
Yeah.
right? Now you see in the studio is like, we da-da-da-da-da, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or like just finished the project, you know what I'm saying? And they could tell you what's going on. The credits we had to wait damn near a year.
Yeah,
You know?
but I
So you can't. So it's not as personal because you don't have the tangible thing in your hand and you own it.
well, it's
But as
personal.
hold on. Let me say something. As far as buying music, it's all about how you approach it, right? Because there's people like Ryan Leslie that were crafty, and he created this text messenger system where he was able to communicate directly with his fans, and he only sells his music one way, and he's profiting really well off of it. You know what I mean? He's having a great system working for him. So it is a blend of how you got to approach it, but you also have to be open-minded to what a younger generation is going, like, their experiences, and I think us having kids gives us that light, you know what I mean? Because this is native for them. This is their way. So, like, if you see how they operate and you tap into it, maybe there's a way to grow with that because that's the dopest thing about hip-hop. We thought it wasn't going to last, Listening to them Clute, going back to that, I just thought that was the end-all be-all of hip-hop. You know what I'm saying? I thought
Can't get any better?
Listen, because Doe is a big Pac fan, I'm the big Biggie fan, right? Pac made a double album, Biggie made a double album. We thought that was unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
Now, an artist could put out 20 projects in a year. You know what I'm saying? So, like, evolution can be good, but it's also, something that is to be said about nostalgia. You're always going to hold on to that. But if you're open-minded, if you want to look to the future and you want to look at things in today's present world and understand that there is whack, but you can't take the good from it, shit, you could profit off that a million different ways.
Now,
you know what I'm saying?
You
can cut out everybody.
Were you alluding to like how much space there was in between albums back then? Like, cause I feel like that was something too.
That
like
was a big deal.
Artists had a lot of like time in between albums to build up. You know what I'm saying? That next project, as opposed to now where there's sort of like a inflation of music on all ends. Because I feel like that's a big difference from then till now. Like
No, I mean when there's space for artists, true artists are gonna take some time to create in between albums and like that. But in the meantime, it gives you an idea. It exposes you to things that you didn't know you liked. You know what I'm saying? And so many other artists out there. It gives you. It's actually helping shape who you are when you get a chance to listen to some of these other artists and stuff like that. And at that time, it was more of people that was like I don't want to just say lyric driven. I just want to say like the things
students
that
of the game. They were like very
there's
lyrical.
not too much things
lyrical.
to copy from.
Yeah.
So these guys were all basically kind of original and things like that. So it was like the hunger was there.
Yeah.
It was a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's not so much of seemed like cheating and shit like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was a little bit different.
There was like a sense of authenticity. Like you had to sort of have your own style.
Yeah.
And you could be inspired by others, but you sort of had to have your own style. You definitely had that. Fuck sorta. You had to have your own style.
Look, fads come and go, right? Selection night, Lil Pump was on stage with Trump, right? And I'm not a hater, but Lil Pump had a moment, and that moment kind of passed, and now he's in the zeitgeist again because he did this thing with the
Well, I
president.
mean,
right?
we in different times, yeah.
No, but what I'm saying is like, as far as artistry goes, that shit lives on forever. That's like real estate. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It may not seem like it's getting more valuable, but it is building because hip hop is growing, and it grew into all of these different like directions
But that's how complex we are as people.
That's a
You
fact.
gotta remember,
That's
for
a
me,
fact.
think about me, right? I've been rapping and making music for the last 20 years,
Yeah.
right? There's certain things that people like you like about me that say, yo, these bars, nature spits these bars. But what happens when I'm not necessarily that same person?
Oh yeah, of course. So you have to evolve.
So now my kids, there's certain things that I might not necessarily want my kids to listen to.
Yeah.
Or I feel funny when it's coming from
Yeah,
me.
definitely. That's
Like
evolution.
I sound like a hypocrite, like by telling them I don't want y'all to listen to this, but meanwhile, Daddy
Yeah.
is saying this.
Yeah, but that's evolution.
No, but you growing though, and I
Yeah.
think the audience is growing with you. I mean, that shit goes across music, right? I mean, I don't think the Beatles' first album was. What
But that's
they were
the
when
audience.
at-
But how about when I'm become not? I feel like I'm
I get what you're
bigger
saying.
than.
As long as you
that.
true to yourself,
I get what you're
as
saying.
long as you speaking.
But look at this,
your
right? We're
truth.
born since 1982, right? That's where we at,
That's a fact,
right? Since 1982, born 1982. You know what came out 1982? Marvin Gaye's Sexual Healing.
Oh.
Didn't Thriller come out?
I'm just saying. I'm talking about Marvin Gaye's Sexual Healing. That's a simple answer to why we all born in 1982, right? That's a completely inappropriate record, album, everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's all repetition. You feel me? Like whatever Marvin Gaye was talking about back then, I'm pretty sure whatever 16, 15-year-old was listening to it, their parents probably didn't want them listening to that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now, that's classic. You know what I'm saying?
It's
Soul music.
It's time
You
and
feel
place,
me?
but it's also about
The same way that your curse words
Yeah.
at one point in time spoke to me, and you might not want you
No, I
might
mean,
want to
I-
hear your kids hear
Nah,
that
but
shit.
I know exactly what you're saying, right? We got this platform here, right? Me and Doe putting together this thing. I got kids, right? I got 3 kids. I got 18, 8, and 2. So they all seen it at different times. They don't look at Daddy the way they gonna look at this and be like, Daddy don't talk like that in the house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
things.
That's not. Who is that?
Who is this guy? But at the same time, it's they might not understand it today, but maybe in
They'll get it.
15 years they might see like, oh, I understand what his approach was. I understand who he is. And what's dope, I mean, not that hip hop should be people's role models, right? But unfortunately, it is for me, right? Because like we're sitting in since 1982, one of the most
Well, we're all here, right? All of us here right now are still here, are products of this
of
shit.
hip hop, yeah. So I
Period.
mean, we made the '96 shirt. It's 5 albums from a shirt, from the time when I dropped out of school, right? So that music at that moment was like a teacher, and was important.
Definitely.
But my mom didn't want me to hear that, and my sisters were like, "What are you playing?" Long story short, I'm not the same person I was at that time.
Yeah.
I should be growing, but that doesn't mean I discredit what was important to me. So if you,
That's what got you here.
so whether it be For All Seasons, Wild Gremlins, the music you making today, them freestyles, that's all part of who you are as a person,
Definitely.
and that's all part of your art. You know what I mean?
And in the
I
bigger
understand-
context,
and I don't mean to cut you off. I just want to finish. And the fact that you have hesitance or you think about who might be listening to this and how it might affect specifically within your household goes to show that you have growth. And that's today what, in my opinion, what the fans love more than they could ever love before because they'd never noticed.
Yeah.
Right? I'm a biggest Biggie fan, but I'm learning more shit about Biggie today because I'm finding interviews that I couldn't find because there was no YouTube back then. So today, now these people could know you. It could the word
Definitely.
sounds kind of funny, but it's intimate. You know what I'm saying? It's intimate. Like
Right.
it's real. It's real shit now. You know what I mean? And we shouldn't be rapping the same way. I shouldn't be talking about the same shit I was talking about before. You know what I mean?
but in a bigger in the same context of what you're talking about, your ideas shape over time. So
That's a fact.
so another way to look at it is of you sort of stamping what was going on those times. You know what I'm saying? Like a journalist would on TV would report or give us back the rundown of what was going on.
Not so much of what's happening in the world, but more of how I feel about it.
Yeah, it's a realistic depiction of where nature was at that time.
It's like as an artist, right? There's certain things that like religion, politics, that you got to be kind of iffy of. Certain areas that you won't jump in. So if I eliminate certain things, that there won't be
it won't be authentic.
No, it won't be authentic. It's not nothing that it's not it's not controversial. It's not nothing that just stays in this comfort zone, stays in its body.
Yeah, like let's say I look at like somebody like Richard Wright who wrote Native Son. Mm-hmm. He was a Native Son, I believe so. And I look at someone like him, right? If you're writing from you're writing from a space of where you come from.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Not of where you going. Like where you at now, you could look back at where you was at then. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But you were writing from a true space. Mm-hmm. Right? So when let's say your children are able to hear that, right? Mm-hmm. Depending on what age they are, that's how they'll that is going to depend on how they're able to process the information.
Totally crazy.
No,
because my daughters are not grown up the same way I've grown up, and they can't even imagine this person that's talking like this.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
But unless they're viewing it as, hey, this is daddy's art,
when they read literature, think about when they read literature. When let's say they read a book.
Yeah, but you don't know the artist. You don't know the author. They just a name to you.
No,
it's not dad.
It's all right. That's all right. But look, a lot of people don't even know. A lot of people don't even get that inside scoop on what they dad on what their dad really, how their dad really feels. So that's also dope too.
I completely agree with
you. I get a kick out.
They're getting a raw
look. I don't
look.
like when they listen. I'm not gonna say I don't like when they can listen. Whatever. I'm not gonna say I don't like when they listen, but when they see the response from people,
it's dope.
It cracks. Yeah, they like get the hell out of it.
And one day they'll get it because they're gonna
like,
come to the age where they can process that shit.
With dad,
yeah,
he just asked me to take. He asked me to take the picture of him and my father. Like, this is crazy.
And the average kid, right? Well, that's lucky enough to grow up with that father in their life, right? Mm-hmm. Pops is the man. So now. Yeah. The average pops that's walking around with respect in the neighborhood, people dapping you up, hey, what's up, whatever, you already got respect. You ain't even got to be famous. You ain't got to have a lot of. If you just that dude, your kids are gonna love you. Now, if you that dude and you're pulling up like, yo, like, you know what I'm saying, while they going on the bus, yeah, they gonna love that.
They seen a couple phone calls or a couple FaceTimes and was like.
Exactly.
You know, they be going crazy.
And when they get older and they're able to process the lyrics and break them down, layer them down to where what was happening at that time, that'll be a different conversation.
It's like such a contradiction of what you think I am.
Listen, I know exactly what you're talking about, right? Because my pops died when I was about to be 12. And my thought process of who he was then and my understanding of who he was at my age now, of understanding because I'm almost the age that he passed away.
Yeah, totally different.
It's a completely different perspective. He's a man. He's a human. Mm-hmm. I thought he was like perfect. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I thought there was nothing wrong. But I understand that he's with being human, you have layers to you, right? But I'm not saying that you should not curse and not, be true to who you are, and obviously,
I'm always gonna do that. I'm never gonna second guess. I'm always gonna give it my I give it because I know what got me to this point to even do shit, bro. This is 20 years later.
Yeah,
a lot of dudes don't have.
We still talking about it.
Fucking 20 days later, 20 months later, like a lot of dudes don't have none of that shit.
Listen, you know 20 years later, we're not. I know we sound like we're traveling back in time, but.
We're not even talking about nothing. What they'll be talking about moving forward.
That's what I'm saying.
We have to sometimes remind some of these people where we coming before we know
exactly where we going.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the only way they're gonna learn, right? You know, you're gonna figure out what happened before you, and it gives you a better perspective of what's happening now and how you want to think about how to act forward. You know,
but we like dinosaurs. I mean, we're not like dinosaurs. We like vampires. We're like, we don't go nowhere.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Not hip hop people.
Nah, man.
This is a culture thing. You know
Definitely.
what I mean?
Nah, man.
It's a culture thing.
I mean, when you start knowing what you want, you start knowing where to look. And, you know what I mean? I have a place for the people that know what I give,
Exactly.
and we do that.
You grow with your audience. That's it. That's it.
Nah,
And we
but-
rocking.
To that point, I mean, you got music buzzing now. You making great. I'm not gonna say. I feel it's still
we're
great
gonna
now.
deliver. We're gonna deliver. You know what I'm saying? And we're trying to package it up where it can come at a rate where you're able to really notice it.
Right.
Like
That's
right
right.
now, it's to that level, but you still have to be directed there. It's not like something that you're actually looking forward to and you come to expect on a constant basis. Once it gets to a point where we're just dropping music like that on a constant basis and they just know to expect music from us like that, it's dope. Because I like the fact, like you said, people get a chance to relive some of the old shit.
Definitely.
That's a fact. I mean, I do it, so I know other people do
Definitely.
it.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
I go. Here's a perfect example. I love music. I love hip hop, and when I hear samples, I go back and listen to the original. You know what I mean? So if this song was great to me, and then OGs would be like, "Oh, you won't know about blah 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 blah," and I go back and listen, I'm like, "Oh, this
Right.
shit is amazing." You know what I'm saying? So like, I love Big, right? I talk about it all the time. Well, Big, Puff sampled the Isley Brothers so often. So me, I go back and listen to their whole catalog.
Music is just gonna stamp a time. You're gonna always remember.
That's a fact.
You're
It's
gonna
the
remember.
ultimate stamp of time.
Yeah. You're
So
gonna remember.
so to not be true to the moment is cheating the music. You know what I'm saying? It's funny too because like, you got an organic relationship with one of our close friends. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Large amount, and y'all making music together.
Definitely.
The fact that y'all came together like just.
Dharma 2 out right now.
That's right.
Word
Dharma
up.
2 is out. Y'all got 2 joints on there. Fire.
Yeah, 2 joints. Yeah.
Word up. Check episode 13 with Large too.
Yeah.
Word.
We're gonna have some visuals soon enough for that.
Yes, sir.
And you making a lot of great music, and when I hear it, it's just, damn, you know what I'm saying? I should have been listening to this every day. Like that's
Right.
how I feel. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And I know to a new listener, that's exactly how they're gonna feel because
Definitely.
I try to keep my pulse on the on a younger generation. They starving for content.
Definitely. They want that raw shit.
They want raw shit. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to anything that's fast and fun. I like to eat fast food sometimes too. Chick-fil-A is great, but a sit-down dinner is better. You know what I'm saying?
course.
So
Of course.
it's not a hate, but these young kids, it's a little bit more time they need to get to that point.
Because it's not a lot of. I'm not gonna say that it's not a lot of thought, but a lot of it just burns out fast.
It's true.
It's just for right now.
It's just a moment.
Yeah, it's just for right now.
You know, they're not going to be able to digest it the same way. But when they do, they'll go back and they listen to it. And like you said, when they get accustomed to knowing the consistency that we hear, and it's not just a thing,
Yeah.
it's a lot of shit going
I
on.
mean,
right
sometimes
now.
it takes a lot of hearing the same for you to appreciate some of our greats.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So it'd be like, some of the people that make these really dope records or some of the great records, some of the great artists don't make a lot of music.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you
That's a
you
fact.
appreciate their music a little bit different, and then once you start listening to the same,
don't
old
add
same,
up.
you understand you appreciate the difference that they
Yeah.
bring to the table.
That's
You know what I'm
one thing between me and him that is a big difference in our favorites, right? Like I love Pac too, but that's his favorite. Tupac had the foresight to just make a lot of music. You know what I'm saying? He came, when he had the opportunity,
Yeah.
whatever those opportunities, those moments was, he was in the studio pumping. Big did it as he wanted to. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm left to sit with X amount of songs to listen to. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, but I mean, at the same
Tupac has
time,
albums
but at
after-
the same
after-
time, when it sort of makes like your argument stronger when you want to talk about like albums or you know what I'm saying?
Well,
Because then
because
you say, "Yo,
I'm
I only got
biased.
these 2 albums from my man."
yeah.
And I got these handful, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's sort of the same thing if you look at R&B with like D'Angelo, right? He was great. He only got 3 maybe albums, right?
Yeah.
And you can't really compare nobody else to him because you know what I'm saying? Those 3
It's
albums
good
are
for
great.
argument's sake, but it's not good for like actual legacy.
For catalog, I mean,
Good
I
because
think
if you
there's
have more
strength in
to,
there.
if you have more to say, you should have said it. You know what I'm saying? And if you had the ability to say it, that's why I said today is the greatest moment. Right now, Nate, If we left here, you can make a song about the election.
And put it out tonight.
And can put it out tonight. That's amazing.
But
in my
yeah,
opinion.
on your own.
That's amazing. You know what I'm saying? That shit wouldn't have happened 20 years ago. It was a different story. You got to get the sample clearance, this, that, a whole bunch of fucking people.
The whole recording process is different.
Yeah.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah, there's less middlemen, all of that.
Well, even like he said, the actual physical technical recording process, you know, reel to reels and DAT tapes and all this other shit. You know what I mean? So it's just a great time for people to have a voice, which comes with a lot of bullshit too. Where you get a lot of
noise.
What's your favorite word? A lot of misinformation. You know what I'm saying? A lot of misinformation, but at the same time, if you cut through the clutter, you'll actually find something that's really meaningful. And that's why the Homage podcast is what it is, because Nature's story is impactful.
You have to push it though, man. You have to. It's just like music, man. It's meant to be shared. You got to share certain stories. You got to share certain things. Like, don't just assume that the people are just gonna just gravitate it towards it just because you gravitated towards it. Sometimes, you know what I mean? What's the sense of having something really dope that you don't get the chance to
share,
show somebody else?
No, you got to put a light on it.
Gotta share.
You got to.
You got to put a light on it.
That's how it goes. And you're going to find whatever you find. You might find something else in it that I wasn't even showing you. It's just, you know, and you just push the culture like that. You know what I'm saying? There's no such thing to me as a sure thing. I don't care. Like, you could have the biggest name producers or the biggest name features, and that doesn't guarantee to win to me. You know what I'm saying? Creativity is going to always outshine no matter what.
That's a fact.
Word up. And nature shines, man.
And nature shines.
Yo, man. Word up.
I wish we had some bud to roll up.
Yo, we gonna wrap it up, man. Nate,
y'all gonna have to come to another episode because like a lot of these shows that I'm doing right now, it's due to the fact that I haven't really been having a lot of music out in the mainstream right now. That is forcing me to start my story backwards as opposed to going where I'm going. But that just solidifies another spot right here on the Homage, homie.
Yo,
that's right.
For sure, man.
Homage
Yo,
podcast.
we gonna definitely let y'all know. Follow Nature, man, on IG.
IG, the Real Nature. You know what I'm saying?
Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter, the same thing. The Real Nature, THE, Real Nature. Tell a friend to tell a friend. You know what I mean? I'm here. And
we gonna keep an eye out for music. He got some music coming with Large too.
Yes,
we got working on his own project.
Stuff. I got a whole bunch of little projects I'm committed to. Like me and Large Amount got some shit we working on together. I'm helping him work out with his solo shit. We just sorting through some of the beats right now. We just got a bunch of these producers just sending us beats every day, and we just trying to find some dope shit in there and just trying to keep it funky.
See, but that's to the point of connecting with the people. Y'all threw that out there, right?
Yeah, we threw it out there.
Y'all
We
made an
actually
email
we created an email just for producers to send beats to and
flavors.
You know,
send those beats, man, to Nature and Large,
How many
man.
beats did you receive so far?
Hundreds of beats.
Oh, what's that? What's that email?
naturelarge@gmail. Word. Dope producers send the MP3s. If you send folders, I probably ain't gonna get to it because it's too crazy. But send MP3s and hopefully some of these guys help me go through them, man.
No doubt, man. Yo,
dope Christmas gifts in there.
Yo, we appreciate you for coming through. You know what I'm saying? This is
Definitely.
episode 14, Homage Pod.
And we out. Peace,
Yeah,
y'all.
we out. One love, y'all.
We'll find out who the president is soon
Yeah,
enough.
man. Stay safe out there.
That's a fact. Peace.
Queens.